Thanks for watching. I'm Margot Kinberg, and this is In the Spotlight, a closer look at a crime novel. Some crime novels take more of a meta approach to the story. They're crime fiction stories about crime fiction. Let's take a look at one of them today and turn the spotlight on Peter Swanson's 8 Perfect Murders. Malcolm Kershaw owns the Boston-based Old Devil's Bookstore. He used to be especially interested in crime fiction and actually blogged on the topic, although he's now more interested in history and poetry. But it's his knowledge of crime fiction that brings the FBI to the bookshop in the form of Special Agent Gwen Mulvey. Several years earlier, Kershaw had written a blog post entitled 8 Perfect Murders, in which he listed 8 crime fictional perfect murders. Mulvey is currently investigating a group of murders that seem to be copying the list on the post, the perfect murders that Kershaw had listed. She asked Kershaw to look up the information about the murders and see if he can associate that information with the books he mentioned, and Kershaw agrees. As he starts looking at both the novels and the crimes, Kershaw becomes intrigued and starts digging a little deeper. For him, it's as much solving a puzzle as it is anything else. But the person he's looking for is a killer who seems to know a lot about Kershaw and who's trying to implicate him in the murders. As the novel moves on, we gradually learn the truth about the killings, and in the end, we find out what's behind it all. So what are the elements that hold this story together? What keeps it going? Well, as I said, there's a meta element in the story. Crime fiction fans will appreciate that there are references to several crime fiction classics, like James M. Cain's Double Indemnity. There's discussion of the plots, characters, and methods of murder. Fair warning, though, there are spoilers, so after you read the initial list of perfect murders at the beginning of the novel, you'll want to stop if you haven't read all of the novels, otherwise they may get spoiled for you. The bookstore setting and Kershaw's interest in books will appeal to crime fiction fans just as much as those stories. There's also an element of the whodunit in the novel. We're not told who the killer is right away. That truth comes out more gradually. There are several twists in the plot too, and that adds another important element. In that way, the novel reflects the traditional crime novel's focus on plot. We also see a bit of the psychological element in the novel. Some characters are not who they seem to be, and not every character is telling the truth or can be trusted, so the killer isn't immediately obvious. We also see this element as Mulvey and Kershaw consider the question of motive. Who would want to commit these murders? The novel is narrated first person, past tense, by Malcolm Kershaw, so we learn some things about him. He's a widower who's always been a bookworm. He's been working in bookshops all of his adult life, and he has a deep knowledge of especially crime fiction. He can't help but be intrigued by the chance to solve a set of real-life murders. 8 Perfect Murders is a meta look at some classic crime fictional plots and raises the question of what would happen if these murders were actually committed in real life. It features a knowledgeable, curious bookshop owner who wants to look into the murders and who gets drawn into real-life killings, and a hard-working FBI agent who's trying to solve them. This has been In the Spotlight. I'm Margot Kinberg. Thanks for watching.